All right, Azu, thank you very much with these latest updates. Now, India's all-party delegations have continued their diplomatic outreach program by visiting nations abroad and delivering India's anti-terror message as they visit the states and across the globe. Congress MP Shashi Tharoor's delegation is currently in Panama. They have met with the President of the Republic of Panama, Jose Raul Mulino, at the Presidential House. Meanwhile, in the other delegation, DMK MP Kanimozhi has been leading it in Athens in Greece. They have met the Deputy Prime Minister of the Foreign Affairs of Greece as well as prominent think tank leaders and several journalists. Additionally, the all-party delegation led by BJP MP Ravi Shankar Prasad has interacted with the India-Italy Parliamentary Friendship Group in Rome. Meanwhile, if we talk about Riyadh, the group led by Bajant Panda has visited the Prince Saud Al Faisal Institute for the Diplomatic Studies. The group led by Supriya Sule, the NCP MP, is in the Cape Town of South Africa. They have met with Kenneth Morlong, who is a Deputy Minister in the South African Presidency, and Supra Obeng Mahuma, who is a chairperson of the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on the International Relations. Last but not the least, the delegation led by Shrikant Shinde has arrived in Sierra Leone. They were welcomed by Baisnab Charan, who is the High Commissioner of India to Sierra Leone. Now, let's listen in to what the leaders and the members of these delegations have said on their visit.
This delegation in front of you today includes parties both from ruling as well as opposition, parties from across the breadth and span of India, thus representing an unified and bipartisan voice of India, which is determined to defeat terrorism in all its form and manifestation. At the outset, allow me to place on record our sincere appreciation for the government of Indonesia and particularly President Prabowo for the clear statement condemning the terror attack in Pahalgaon in Jammu and Kashmir and for expressing solidarity with the people of India. He had stated that such atrocities are unjustifiable regardless of the motive, time, place or perpetrators. This is a strong source of strength for India. Yesterday, our delegation had productive official meeting, including with the Vice Chairman of Inter-Parliamentary Cooperation, the Chairperson of India-Indonesia Parliamentary Friendship Group, the Secretary General of ASEAN, and the Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs of Indonesia. In all our interaction, the message from Indonesia was clear that unequivocal condemnation for act of terrorism and of a policy of zero tolerance for terrorism in India. Today we are meeting with the prominent think tank and members of the academia in Indonesia, which serve as an invaluable catalyst in formulating innovative counter-terrorism policy. The purpose of this interaction is to brief India's point of view and our strategy to tackle the menace of terrorism, henceforth emanating from Pakistan. The terrorist attack in Jammu and Kashmir was carried out with nefarious design to disrupt normalcy and to provoke communal disharmony in India.
Hence, we have had very rich historical and cultural ties. You may please recall that in 1950, in the first Republic Day celebration of India, your president was the guest of honor. So that shows how close we are. A very brief address from my side, consisting of two parts. I would touch upon two issues. One, of course, about naming the entire India's offensive as Operation Sindhur. Friends, Operation Sindhur has been a big launch, a big campaign against those perpetrators of violence, of terrorism, who have taken away the husbands of our daughters, of our sisters, and of our mothers. So I think at this hour, through this naming of the launch of offensive as Operation Sindhur, The Indian government wants to communicate to the international community that we all stand by the mothers, daughters, and sisters of the country. This was a ghastly act which I can very well term as crime against humanity. The vermilion on our head, on our forehead, is the basis of our marital life. We just cannot think of our marital existence in India, the women, without that vermilion on the head. And these terrorists came and removed those marks from the forehead of women, and that is something which is deplorable and we strongly condemn. This is one part. The other part, I want to very proudly inform this august House that India stands on the cusp of progress. And there is a reason why I talk about India's positioning in the world at this juncture, which I'll come.
There are just a few points that I want to highlight. One has just been mentioned to you, that we are a multi-party delegation. 7 such delegations have gone across the globe and are, as we speak here, they are presently interacting with their counterparts in the rest of the world. The idea is twofold. One, that we show to the world, to friends like you, we show that India has a united voice on very critical matters, both for the world and for India. And one such matter, as you know, is about peace and prosperity. It is in the defense of peace and prosperity that we have had to act in the recent incidents. And when my colleague here, Apajita ji, will speak, I'm sure she will explain to you what the relevance and the significance is of naming the operation that we conducted, Operation Sindhur. And I think you would be very, very encouraged by hearing those remarks. Incidentally, we know and we realize, and the ambassadors have briefed us very extensively, that there are many overlaps and similarities between our two countries. One is that we are multi-religious countries. The other one is that you have the largest population of Muslims across the globe. We have the second largest population. The sizes of our total populations may differ, but percentages are very significant and important. The second point is that this, I believe you consider this national unity between different religions and different kinds of subcultures and subsets of population to be very, very significant for growth and prosperity of your nations. And that's where we share this with you. And those who are our enemies want to destroy this very fabric of
that most of the terrorist attacks that have taken place over the last few decades that has emanated from Pakistan has not restricted itself to its immediate geography but has footprints all over the world. The 1999 hijacking of the Kandahar airplane was orchestrated by Pakistani agents. You are aware, Excellency, that Osama bin Laden was found in Pakistan's Abbottabad, where he found a safe haven. The 2005 London Tube bombings, of the 5 bombers, the investigations led to 3 of them being trained in Pakistan. The May 2010 New York Times Square bombing attempt, out of the 4 people who were apprehended, 2 of them were trained in Pakistan. November 2019, London, where 5 people were stabbed in central London, 2 of them were fatally, 2 of them succumbed to their injuries. A 28-year-old British national was of Pakistani descent and again was trained in Pakistan. January 2020, Paris attacks, an attempt to murder 2 people with a clever meat. This was again traced back to Pakistan. 2022, Excellency, there was an attacker with an armed pistol who took hostages in a synagogue in United States in Texas. The attacker, Malik Faisal, was again a Pakistani descendant. This is not an exhaustive list. The list goes on, Excellency. Iran, Sri Lanka, Paris. The point that I am trying to make, Your Excellency, that our delegation through our leader is trying to make here, is that today it's an extremely interconnected world. And one nation's inaction against terrorism cannot be, or rather will be, a threat for all nations around the world. Panama today holds a very important position in the UN Security Council. We urge you humbly to please take cognizance of this very important fact about Pakistani terrorism as a global threat and support.
So our Prime Minister and the Government of India has made a decision to reach out to countries, and today you know that the delegation is not just from the ruling party. Of course, Captain Brijesh Chauda, he is the only member in this delegation from the BJP. The rest of us are from opposition parties. But yet, when it comes to the country, we all stand together and we come together in one voice with concern about the security of our people. We have been meeting people, lawmakers, opinion makers in different countries. First we went to Moscow. Today we had many meetings from the parliamentarians to, Foreign Affairs Ministry, think tanks, journalists, to express our concern and to explain what India has been suffering in the name of terrorism and state-sponsored terrorism.
आज मीटिंग हुई और बड़ी खुशी की बात है कि इन लोगों ने हमारी बात को समझा और जो इश्यू है ये लोग भी समझते हैं कि भाई टेररिज्म जो है वो पूरी दुनिया के लिए एक बीमारी है और उसको अगर अभी से ठीक से टैकल नहीं किया गया तो वो सबको परेशान करेगी। हमने इनको बताया ये सब चीजें, बल्कि इन्होंने खुद बताया कि पिछले कुछ रोज पहले 2 पाकिस्तानी टेररिस्ट यहाँ पकड़े गए, उनके पास में बहुत बड़ा असला मिला और वो जो है किसी एम्बेसी के ऊपर अटैक करना चाहते थे, लेकिन ग्रीक पुलिस ने उनको पकड़ लिया। तो कहने का मतलब ये है कि जहाँ जहाँ भी दुनिया में कोई टेररिज्म का एक्ट होता है उसमें उसका लिंक पाकिस्तान से ही मिलता है। ये बात इनको समझानी थी, वैसे समझते भी हैं और समझे भी हैं और हर तरह से साथ में खड़े रहने का इन्होंने वायदा किया है। हमारा ट्रिप यहाँ का अच्छा।
देखो, अब ये तीसरा देश है जहाँ भी हम लोग गए, वहाँ की सरकारों के साथ साथ जो वहाँ इंडियन रहने वाले हैं, चाहे रसिया रहा हो, चाहे लुबिनिया रहा हो, चाहे यहाँ रहा हो, हर जगह हर भारतवासी देश के साथ, देश की सेना के साथ, देश की सरकार के साथ है और यही जज्बा हिंदुस्तान की ताकत है। यहाँ तीनों देशों में 100% सफल रहे। हमने न सिर्फ वहाँ के सरकार में बैठे लोगों को कन्विंस किया, बल्कि अपने लोगों का भी स्नेह पाया और सारे लोग एक साथ हैं। अगला पड़ाव हमारा रीगा है। हमें उम्मीद है कि वहाँ भी ऐसे ही जब तक हम लोग लौटेंगे, पांचों में देशों में 10 में 10 नंबर रहेगा और लोगों का समर्थन लेके जाएंगे और साथ ही अपने भारतीयों को जोश और जज्बा दे।
Our ambassador in Greece had organized a series of meetings today. Right from we had a meeting with the parliamentarians. Thereafter, we had a meeting with the deputy minister who is handling the foreign affairs. We had a meeting with a think tank, a very prominent think tank of Athens, and also an important newspaper. We had a discussion with the editorial board of the newspaper. So our ambassador Rudranath Tandon, today morning he briefed. Yesterday he had briefed us about the overall scenario. I must say that Greece and India are two nations. They're just not nations, they're civilizational nations. So we have a shared history in a way when it comes to civilization. So it's very happy to be in a place which is a cradle of civilization, which is a cradle of ideas, which is a cradle of thoughts. And naturally we would expect a country like Greece to support India's endeavor. Because what we're trying to do through Operation Sindhur is not just about dealing with a state like Pakistan. Of course, that is our primary target, but Operation Sindhur is also about uprooting the entire terror infrastructure. It's about leading the battle against terrorism, which India is doing in a very dharmic sort of a way. So from that perspective, it's been a very fruitful day today, right from the morning, and like always, our entire delegation was very clear on two issues.
A delegation which covers 5 political parties and represents all parts of the country. And what we are trying to do is to go to a few countries in this region. The Prime Minister has sent smaller delegations to other regions as well. The idea is to explain to you our perspective on the recent events in our country and to seek your understanding for not just what we did, but what stand we have taken in the event of any future developments of a similar nature. I want to start by thanking you for the very constructive statement that Panama issued on this subject and the very helpful role that you have played in the Security Council. And we certainly hope that your instructions to your ambassador will continue to show understanding for India's position. We know that Panama, indeed the President of the National Assembly said this already, has consistently stood against terrorism. Terrorism should not be a resort of attempting to address international disputes. If there are problems, there are other ways of dealing with them. Sending terrorists across the border is simply unacceptable, and that should be made clear. We should go after the perpetrators, the killers ourselves, and we will do so. But those who give them safe haven, those who protect them, finance them, train them, arm them, dispatch them, and guide them, they should also be held accountable. And increasingly, it seems to me, it will become inescapable for us to face this particular aspect of the challenge.
It is with great honor and sincere pleasure that I welcome Your Excellency to Panama. The government of my country, our President, give you the most warming welcome. Your presence here and of your delegation today is a powerful symbol of the enduring and dynamic friendship between Panama and India, and it marks a new chapter in our shared journey toward cooperation, development, and mutual understanding. Panama, as the bridge of the world and the heart of the universe, has always embraced its strategic role in global commerce, diplomacy, and cultural dialogue. Likewise, India, with its rich heritage, vibrant democracy, the biggest one in the world, and growing global influence, has been a long-standing and a valued partner in our development and multilateral engagements. It is not the first time that I say this, but probably it is the first time that you hear this. I have said publicly that India deserves to be in the Security Council of the United Nations. The relationship between Panama and India is rooted in mutual respect, shared democratic values, and a common vision for prosperity, peace, and inclusive growth. Over the years, we have witnessed a steady strengthening of bilateral ties across multiple sectors: trade and investment, maritime collaboration, education, health, and renewable energy.
It was a very good meeting with the India caucus in the National Assembly and the Senate. Brilliant exchange, and what is a matter of great assurance for us, there was a commonality of understanding about India's position and also Italians vis-a-vis the cancer of global terror. India and Italy have good relationship. They also assured their commitment. We will work together for the cause of peace and amity, and also in the fight against terror.
It's a very important visit, and for us there are many takeaways. First, it was an engagement after a very important incident in India and a very important policy shift in terms of terrorism. So having the parliamentarians here gave us the opportunity to address other parliamentarians, think tanks, media, the Indian community, to speak to them that the nation speaks in one voice, and we are very unwavering in our commitment to address terrorism. And of course, it was also an opportunity to convey that our strategic partnership with Italy was very important. And we heard from all Italian stakeholders understanding of our position, and they see our perspective, and they also are firm that we should work together to counter terrorism.